Hello, freaks and geeks. Thank you so much for joining me today. 1 second. It's early, I'm caffeinating up. Okay, so today's video is my TBR for the month of August. We are already in August. Don't know how I feel about that. The year has gone at like breakneck speed, which in a way is good because we're closer to Halloween, and that's just, is my favorite time of the year, although it is Halloween all year round in my house. But I'm quite happy because, as you've seen in some of my previous videos, Halloween decor is out at TK Maxx Home Sense, and I'm loving that. So there will be more hauls coming up. But also, it kind of gives me an excuse to go back into reading proper spooky season books. So in summer, I kind of felt like I needed to do a bit more summery reads. But now I can just go full on with the spook, because we all know August is actually the start of autumn, although it has warmed up in England. Anyway, enough rambling from me. So I'm going to talk about the books that I'm planning to read in August. This is just kind of my TBR at the moment. It may change a little bit. I may add, subtract, whatever. I'm also planning a few kind of thematic review videos. So one that I've been talking about is like the horror movie theme, and I have a lot of books. I mean, I have gone down a rabbit hole of books that include horror movie themes. I mean, there are a lot. And I've got a few more to read, and I've got a few more to come. So I'm going to do that probably towards the end of the month. And then I'm also kind of in the mood for spooky houses and sort of the haunting of Hill House type of trope. And I'm going to be doing a video on that as well. So let me start with the books that I've got on my TBR that I really need to read this month, or that I want to read this month. It's all about what you want to do, not what you have to do. I'm sorry, I'm turning my back to you because here they are. So the first one has absolutely nothing to do with either of those tropes, is Bad Omens. This is by Melissa Elbert, and actually I'll do a Melissa Elbert video because I adore Melissa Elbert's books. The Hazelwood series, one of my favourite. Our Crooked Hearts is incredible. So The Bad Omens is about this town that people, in the beginning, these girls go missing. Actually, it's a boy and two girls go missing. Two go missing, and we're not sure why they've gone missing. And one we suspect has actually run away. And her best friend is basically trying to figure out what's happened to her. And the town is trying to like figure out what's happened to these other two kids that have gone missing. This is YA, but Melissa Elbert writes in a way that is so beautiful, and I think anybody of any age can enjoy this book if you like kind of the spooky, creepy. And I've already started reading the first couple of chapters because I had to. And it is gorgeous. It is gorgeously written. So the premise also in here is that these girls play this game called the Goddess Game, and it's calling up the goddess, and it's got to do with death. And yeah, it's got all of the spooky vibes. It's already like, a couple of chapters in. I'm absolutely loving it, and it's exactly what I want. And also this cover is absolutely stunning. So that's my first August read. Then my second August read is kind of in line with the trope I was talking about, although the book that is more in line with the trope I was talking about is Craig Delury's other book. So I have got episode 13 by Craig Delury, which is one that was hugely anticipated by me, and I cannot wait to get my teeth into. This one is more about a supernatural, like haunted house TV program. So this actually kind of falls more in line with the haunted house theme, but essentially it follows this crew who go into this house and do like paranormal investigation. So like I said, more haunting of Hill House, so it kind of falls into that bucket. But it's something that I really love. I love like Most Haunted, and actually there's a biography out on, what's her name? Fielding? Forget what her first name is, but the lady that does that Most Haunted, and they do all those shows. I love those shows. I mean, I am of the personal opinion that, like, look, most of them are set up, right? It's TV, it's entertainment, but it's still fun to watch. So yeah, this is written in kind of diary entries, in like articles, kind of like the show. So everybody says the audiobook is really good. I'm actually going to read the physical copy, and then I might do the audiobook after that because I prefer to read physical. But this just sounds fantastic. And I've heard some really good things about it, and that combination of ghosts and creepy things and horror show and paranormal investigate. Yeah. It's right up my alley, in case you haven't noticed. Then, like I said, on my rabbit hole of kind of horror movie or show related books, I found this one. It's called Are You Watching? One Killer, 13 Victims, a Million Viewers. So this one is, you have to murder at least 3 people to be called a serial killer. The Magpie Man got there when I was 9. 10 years ago, Jesse's mother was murdered by the Magpie Man. She was the first of his victims, but not the last. Now Jessie is the star of a YouTube reality series, and she's using it to catch the killer once and for all. The whole world is watching every move, and so is the Magpie Man. That sounds really, really good. So yeah, I love that kind of integration of the sort of YouTube channel, true crime podcast element. Love true crime. So that sounds really good. Then another one, again, down that rabbit hole, is Mr. Magic. And I really love this. Kind of like a shiny cover. It's really pretty. I've read a few Kirsten White books, actually, and I enjoy Kirsten White. So there was one I read that I wasn't that enamored with. I can't even remember what it was, the last one I read. But this sounds promising. So Mr. Magic is about this children's TV program called Mr. Magic. And apparently shit went down on this. And there's 5 surviving cast members have done their best to move on. So yeah, something bad happened there. But as a generation of culturally devoted fans still clings to the lessons they learned from the show, the cast have spent their lives searching for the happiness they felt when they were on it. And with no surviving video of the show, no evidence of who directed or produced it, and no records of who or what the beloved host actually was, memories are all the former circle of friends have. So yeah, haunted TV kids show. Awesome. Who doesn't love that? Then, again, my rabbit hole of research has led me here. So this is called The Devil's Playground, Where Horror is Silent by Craig Russell. Now, I believe that this follows... So, side note. One of my all-time favorite books of all time, and I will do an entire video dedicated to this because I've literally just done a reread and I loved it more the second time I read it, is this gorgeous book over here. And also I have the best copy of it, is Night Film by Marisha Pessl. Now, as you can imagine, that's kind of why I love this trope. And this one, so when I started kind of going like, what other books are like Night Film? This one is set up in 1920s Hollywood. And it's kind of giving me Night Film vibes in the sense that you've got this sort of Hollywood director, star of this movie called The Devil's Playground. And then in 1967, they're trying to do a bit of a revival, and it's about this horror director and all of those. It's basically just giving me kind of the same vibes as Night Film, but like in the 1920s and 1960s setting, the silent film era, which is really super cool because like Theda Bara, who was like the first vamp, in like the silent films, she's like such a goth actress icon. So yeah, this sounds really, really good. And then also what I don't actually have physically, but I have coming, is another one called Flicker, which is by Theodore, I cannot say the surname right now. We'll talk about it when I do the final video. But again, that one is set, I think, further back in the 60s. I might be wrong. But again, it's that kind of idea of these films, these cursed films, all of that fun stuff. So like I said, proper rabbit hole. I've got so many books in that vein now. But yeah, Devil's Playground, this sounds really good. Like 1920s Hollywood and horror films. Ooh, sorry, I'm dropping all the books. Right, moving on from that kind of trope. Also, what I was going to mention was Craig DeLuey, How to Make a Horror Movie and Survive. That literally, I'm awaiting my copy. It's coming out in a few days. That's going to go on that trope list as well. Sounds fantastic. Moving on. So if you're not interested in that, moving on. We have got Diavola? Again, my poor Italian heritage. So this one, I just absolutely was obsessed with the cover when I saw it. And I was in Waterstones one day and went, fuck it, I'm picking it up. So this is by Jennifer Thorne. And it's about, I think, a family. So it's a little bit like Crazy Family Dynamics, which I love. But they decide to go on this Italian holiday in this lovely, beautiful, sun-drenched place. So I figured I really need to read this while summer is still in full swing. And they basically live in this house. And again, this is in my haunted house themed type of direction I'm going in. And basically the house is weird and crazy, and things kind of happen in this house. And it says, it's imagine The Exorcist meets The Haunting of Hill House in a creepy Tuscan villa with lots of atmosphere and a vein of dark humor running through. It sounds kind of fantastic, and I've heard some good reviews on this, so very excited on that one. Then this is just completely out of out of anything, is Mayfly by CJ Lead. I had this in my haul video, and it just sounds so good about this female serial killer who kills these guys, and by day she's kind of the frozen princess at Disney, and she's a book nerd, and those are all things that just speak to my dark soul. So I have to read it. I just have to read it. So that's why it's on my TBR for this month, even though it doesn't really fall into any of my predetermined categories. Then the next book, and again, this is on the TBR because I freaking love Ashley Winstead. So I've read 2 Ashley Winstead books previously, In My Dreams I Hold a Knife and The Lost Housewife. I had them in my July wrap-up. I'm going to be doing a whole Ashley Winstead video once I've read this one. Midnight is the Darkest Hour. Again, that is a stunning cover. And this is basically a thriller. I believe this has some supernatural elements in it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I hear. But it says, beware of the dark. You might like what you find. Ruth Collier has always felt like an outsider, even as her father rains fire and brimstone from the church pulpit in Bottom Springs, Louisiana. His word is as good as law. But there are many things the townspeople fear more than God, like the Low Man, a vampiric figure said to kill sinners in their beds on moonless nights. And literally that was all I need to read. There's a bit more, but like, it sounds incredible. So I'm like thinking the kind of confluence of Ashley Winstead's sort of thriller mentality, which I love, with what sounds like vampires. I'm really hoping there's vampires. I really hope there's vampires. What sounds like vampires? Just book goals. So yeah, that's another one I'm very super excited to read. Then I've got my 2 new releases. So let me pick both of these up so I don't have to keep turning my back on you. Every month, what I'm trying to do now is also read the new releases that I get really excited about buying, particularly when they're hardback and then they sit on my shelf for years, and I could have just bought the softcover. So these are the 2 that I've recently purchased, and I really want to get to them and read them. Both of them sound fantastic. So the first one here is Lisa Jewell, Breaking the Dark. I recently read Lisa Jewell's Nothing Here Is True, or what was it called? None of This Is True. Oh, I love that book. I loved it. So now I'm in a little bit of a Lisa Jewell obsession. And then I saw that this is coming out, and it is basically in the Marvel universe, and it's Jessica Jones. So she's written a Jessica Jones book, and I love Jessica Jones. I love the TV series. It's so dark and bleak. I love the character. She's just, I would use the word nihilistic in the best possible way. I love her. So the idea that Lisa Jewell has written Jessica Jones is incredible. So let me read you the blurb. A private investigator and retired superhero based in Hell's Kitchen, Manhattan, who goes from job to job as a hard-living, rough-talking loner. I love Jessica Jones. And who's about to face her most dangerous challenge yet. She's so, yeah, I love it. I absolutely love this. And this book's beautiful as well. Look at the inside of that. So yes, I had to get it, but I have to read it as well because that's my new mission. Read the new releases. And then the other one is, I mean, can you blame me? This is a cover buy. I was standing at the till at Waterstones paying for my purchases and saw this and had to have it because it is absolutely freaking stunning. And then there's even, I mean, the book itself is purple. I mean, look at that. It's just beautiful. No idea what it was about. Just, it had Long Live Evil on it, which again, Long Live Evil. It's Time for Your Villain Era. And it's by Sarah Reese Brennan, who I've actually read. She did sort of novel tie-ins for The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which is one of my all-time favorite shows. So those 3 things just basically got me. But let's read what it's about. A story for anyone who's ever fallen for the villain. Okay, yeah. When her whole life collapsed, Ray still had books. Dying, she sees a second chance at living, a magical bargain which lets her enter the world of her favourite fantasy series. Wow, okay, that sounds amazing. She wakes in a castle on the edge of a hellish chasm in a kingdom on the brink of war, home to dangerous monsters, scheming courtiers, and her favourite fictional characters, the once and forever emperor. He's impossibly alluring, as only fiction can be, and in this fantasy world she discovers she's not the heroine, but the villainess in the Emperor's Tale. So to be it, the wicked are better dressed. So be it. The wicked are better dressed. So true. With better one-liners. So true. Even if they're doomed to bad ends. So true. She assembles the wildly disparate villains of the story under her evil leadership, plotting to change their fate. But as the body count rises and the Emperor's fury increases, it seems Rey and her allies may not survive to the final page. Okay. Can you tell I'm excited? I also dressed to match this book, in case anyone was wondering. Yes. Oh my god, that just sounds awesome. Just the cover. Okay, so that's kind of what is on my loose TBR. But like I said, there's some other books coming. There might be some more with the kind of horror movie or podcast genre, the haunted house genre. We'll see how much I can get to in the month of August. I think a lot of this will spill over into September as well. I'm just realizing that I literally cannot read 24/7, although it's what I want to do. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you've read any of these books, if you have any recommendations. And I will see you all next time. Stay spooky. Bye.